G'day and welcome back to OSFirstTimer. Installing Arch Linux can be a nightmare for the inexperienced user, but today Dine will be installing Arch Linux using Anarchy as suggested by our final Patreon, Jakey Pierce, so be sure to go check out his channel. Also, I recently did the Ice Bucket Challenge, Never Have I Ever, and some other videos with YouTuber Bailey Vlogs, so be sure to check those videos out. I'll link to them in the description. Anyway, will Dinah be able to install Arch Linux with the help of Anarchy? Keep watching to find out. Okay, so here you are, ready to install Arch Linux from scratch. Now basically, before we continue, you may notice the background is just a little bit different behind us. That is because we have now moved to Tasmania, and it just so happens to be quite a cold day in Tasmania during summer, so Dinah's wearing warm clothes. So if you want to see our move down to Tasmania, it's like a movie-sized video actually. You can go see it's 5 days of driving down from Sydney to Melbourne, down crossing through with the spirit of Tasmania down to Devonport, driving down to Hobart, checking out the farm we now live on. So yeah, definitely check that out. The video will be in the description. Now, go ahead. Can you please install Arch Linux? You spelled Linux wrong.
Linux.
Now, don't you wish it was that simple? Install. It cannot stat arch, no such file or directory, and you've got a sad face.
Oh, bad luck. So that's the end of the video now. I couldn't install Arch Linux.
No, okay, so when it comes to installing Arch Linux, it is a pretty difficult situation. Luckily though, there is an actual, by the Arch Linux people themselves, they tell you to follow the wiki. And on their wiki, which tells you everything to do with Arch Linux, it comes with an installation guide.
Why doesn't it just come with an installation app so that you just put it on the computer and it just installs itself?
Well, that would be good, wouldn't it? Let's start with the installation guide. So this document is a guide for installing Arch Linux from the live system booted with the official installation image. Now you go through, do all this pre-installation stuff, you make sure you set the keyboard layout, verify the boot record, connect to the internet, update the system clock, partition the disks, format the partitions, and then you want to start with the installation of selecting the mirrors, installing the base packages, configuring the system with SDAB. Remember, there's no installer for this, it doesn't do it itself. You have to type in commands manually and stuff, and if you don't have this guide, you wouldn't really be able to do it, would you?
Why don't they just have it all saved in one document so you can just copy and paste and put it straight in that command thing and just let it do itself?
Well, if you do want an easier way to install Arch Linux, you can go and check out How to Quickly, because there on How to Quickly, every single video is less than 2 minutes and it tells you how to do stuff. Except I couldn't do Arch Linux in less than 2 minutes because it took 2 and a bit minutes. It's the only video that couldn't be done within 2 minutes.
Still, I don't believe anybody else could install Arch Linux in 2 and a bit minutes. So.
Well, if you want to actually see how you would legitimately install this Arch Linux, even with the GNOME desktop environment in 2 minutes with the official Arch ISO files, you can go and check out that episode of How to Quickly. Now, let's just say you didn't want to do that either. Let's just say that wasn't quick enough for you. It was too complicated. You don't want to be typing in a bunch of commands, even with me guiding you.
Yeah.
Well, there is luckily an even easier way. There was something called Arch Anywhere. Arch Anywhere was a simple way to install it, although because there was a bit of copyright issues with using the word Arch, it's now Anarchy.
That's probably what it's caused in the Arch Linux community.
Here we are on the official website. So this is actually, what you're going to be installing is an actual Linux distribution known as Anarchy Linux. So this will officially allow you to install it with a GUI. So it's going to get you to install Arch Linux with a GUI, so you don't have to remember commands and type commands in and all of that. It comes with a full GUI. How much easier does this sound?
Well, we'll see. Still don't know what a GUI is.
Graphical User Interface.
Oh, I like those.
So here we are. This is what happens when you boot Anarchy. So what you'll notice is it comes with an XFCE for desktop, right?
I like the little display at the back. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, well, it comes with this just as a little thing to
showing off its colours.
Well, anyway, what you can actually do now is you can actually install Arch the way you want to install Arch. So how do you think you might actually start installing Arch?
I would say I would go...
Yeah, you've got a mouse now. You didn't before.
Well, that's... Everything should have a mouse.
By the way, in that other installation thing, so if you install Arch the normal way and go through the normal process and everything like that, you actually won't get a GUI if you're following that thing. So you boot it and it's still text-based, fully text-based, your operating system. However, it's very easy. You just go after that, get a desktop environment, sudo pacman-s and get the desktop environment you want, such as GNOME, KDE, whatever you want, and then you've got a desktop environment. And then you can install all the apps you want like that. So, this way is a lot easier. It actually has options here for you to select from. You see, it's like a multi-choice.
Yeah, I like that.
Multi-choice questionnaire rather than do an essay, please.
Yes.
So this is the way Anarchy is. So let's go ahead.
I like multiple choice because at least you get somewhere instead of getting nowhere.
Exactly. Yeah. So, select your installing language.
English.
Okay.
It's already there,
yep.
So, okay.
Now, welcome to the Arch Linux installer. Would you like to begin the installation process?
Well, I wouldn't have selected the first thing if I... That was unnecessary.
Okay.
Because, yeah.
Now, update mirror list. So basically, the mirrors are basically where all the software is kind of stored, and when you update the mirror list, it's all about trying to get it so that when you're downloading software for your Arch Linux operating system, you're installing it from the closest places or fastest places to you.
Okay.
You see? So you can go quickly do that now. So you've got 3 options: download and rent new mirrors, edit the mirror list manually, or skip updating the mirrors.
Are the mirrors important?
Yes.
Okay, so we can't skip them.
Yep.
Or skip updating them. Okay. Well, I wouldn't know how to edit them.
Manually, no.
So we've got to download them.
Okay, so now you have to select your country code, which is Australia. Fantastic. I actually clicked Austria during the installation. I just didn't notice that it was a different word.
Yeah, I saw that at first, but then
and
I
you
realised...
almost clicked it?
Well, I realised it didn't have enough letters in it. It looked too short.
Exactly. So now you select your key map. United States, German, Greek, Hungarian, all those things.
Hungarian.
Well, I can't speak those languages, okay?
But this is in English.
Yes,
this
I know,
is the
but
English pronunciation.
It's the English pronunciation of
look,
another
I'm assuming
languages. I don't do
United
other
States,
languages.
okay.
Das ist not good. Okay, let's continue. What do you want? Your desired local. See, this is pretty easy, isn't it? And you would have to do all this manually yourself in Arch.
And Antarctica. Who would be on a computer in Antarctica?
Well, you're selecting your time zone now, okay? So let's do the time zone. You're going to choose, obviously, Australia here. Now, before we continue...
I'm just imagining all the Eskimos in their little igloos with computers and fires and everything going, selecting Antarctica.
Or if you actually think about what Antarctica's like, you think of the people who are there, the researchers in Antarctica, working... A lot of Australian researchers are in Antarctica. In fact, just down the road from us...
I guess they'd need their computers then, wouldn't
Just
they?
down the road from us in Kingston, you've got the Australian Antarctic Division, and you can actually go on a trip to Antarctica. We could technically, if we become scientists.
It's cold enough here. I'm not going to go to Antarctica.
Well, anyway, have a little look at what we've got here. So this is your sub-zone. Now, before you pick, because you know where you live now, it's not Sydney anymore. By the way, how would you get to Sydney?
Scroll down. Here.
So there's Sydney down there, but we're no longer in Sydney. We are now the closest
Tasmania,
kind of time.
which is below
or
Sydney.
Hobart. So yeah, it has got Tasmania there, but up here it's also got like the one that's a little bit more appropriate for us.
Oh yeah, we're
Hobart.
close to Hobart.
Now,
yeah.
before we continue, can you just tell me what you think of the list of countries?
That's a wine.
So let's have a little look. Let's see.
Broken Hill.
Do you agree with this?
Yeah, I agree with Adelaide.
Yep,
yeah.
a capital city. Brisbane, a capital city.
No.
Broken Hill. Now, Broken Hill is a city. Its population from memory is
small.
around 20,000. It's kind of like the capital of the outback. It's in the middle of nowhere in Australia. 20,000 people. They have it there, but okay. It's
I don't agree with Curry. I mean, yes,
Canberra. Canberra, that's the capital city. But Curry?
No.
You know how many
It's
people
too
live in Curry?
small.
It's only about 700 people live in Curry.
But that's ridiculous.
Curry is a...
Maybe they paid them to have that up there. It's a conspiracy.
Now, Eucla is actually, it's not too far from the beach. Its population, see if you can guess. Okay, first of all,
Probably
what state
not
is it
very
located
many.
in?
I wouldn't have a clue. I've never heard of it before. I'm assuming probably only about 20 people live there.
Okay, it's a small town in Western Australia. There's under 100 people living there.
Well, I said about 20.
Yeah, 100 people
Why
live
would you
there.
even have that there up with all these capital cities
I mean, if you've got Eucla
major
there,
cities and stuff.
and maybe it's because they're thinking, okay, A, B, C, D, E, we need something for E. But why not choose Eden? Because Eden has 3,000 people, and it's a bigger town. Why Eucla,
And what's
not
LHI?
Eden? LHI is Lord Howdy Island, or whatever you call it.
And this one's south, but south what?
Yeah.
Could be south anything.
So what's the point of having Lord Howdy
and north.
here? Look, Lord Howdy and LHI.
Oh, that's
It's the same
weird.
thing twice. You're probably thinking, what's this Lindeman? Or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
You're thinking, what is Lindeman? Now, Lindeman is actually an island, and it's up near Queensland. And it's only a very tiny island. It's a resort place. So I don't actually think there's anybody living there.
So maybe those tourists are Anarchy Linux fans and they go to that island to try out Anarchy Linux, and that's why they've put that time zone there.
See, just what I mean about these. Like, I feel like a lot of this,
And
this
north,
could be improved.
north what?
Yeah, north what?
North Korea.
You know, and west. Now, this is the weirdest one.
What?
Yankawina. Have you heard of Yankawina?
Never.
I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it properly. But basically, it's one of the 141 divisions of New South Wales. And it's kind of like it's around the Broken Hill area. It's not a town, it's not a village, it's just a division of New South Wales. And Broken Hill is inside that division.
They obviously want to have Y in the alphabet.
But why would you choose that?
Why? Exactly.
There's a lot of better things you can do.
That's why.
Anyway.
Can I just say, we've spent so much time on this time zone thing.
That's
Should we
why.
actually go and...
Well, let's go. Hobart. And let's continue. Select your desired method of partitioning. Note auto partitioning will format the selected drive. Press cancel to return to the drive selection.
Well, I'm not going to choose manual because I don't want to do anything myself. And I don't want to do anything encrypted because it sounds too hard. So just auto partition drive.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You select one. There's only one disk there, 20 gigabytes.
Easy.
And what file system? The default is ext4.
Well, ext4 it is.
Okay, you missed it. It was okay.
It was trying to trick me.
Would you like to create a swap space?
Not really. I just didn't want to do anything too hard.
Okay. Okay. And you find with the default swap size?
Because I don't know what size it should be or what's the best size, so...
Would you like to use the GPT partitioning, like the table?
It's suggesting no. No, I don't want to do that.
Okay, warning, this will erase, everything.
That doesn't sound good.
No, but it's when you install something, you want to erase everything.
Okay.
Unless you're dual booting.
Okay, so right changes?
Yep, and now it's formatting and going ahead. So there we go. Now you can choose your desired install option. So do you want Anarchy Desktop, Desktop LTS, the server version, the server LTS, or advanced? Which one sounds the best to you?
The quick desktop install.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Notice it's picking the easy things off first.
And
so now you choose a desktop environment.
The budgie
you can choose the
edition.
budgie edition,
I love
the
little
cinnamon
budgies.
edition, the gnome edition, the open box edition,
I mentioned
or
this
the
before.
XFCE
I used
edition.
to have little budgies.
Now the thing I don't like about this is there are so many more desktop environments and window managers, and it also doesn't let people choose if they want...
I'm going to go cinnamon.
Okay.
Done.
It also doesn't let people pick no desktop environment because some people might not want a desktop environment. So I think that should be an option too. Okay, well...
Who wouldn't want a desktop environment?
Some people don't. Like someone who's very minimalistic and they don't want all GUI stuff clogging up their
But that means you have to
resources.
do all text stuff.
That some people want to do all text stuff.
Oh,
Anyway,
I don't want to
give
meet
your computer
those.
a name.
Give it a name.
Yep.
Here,
Yep.
it's called an Anarchy.
Yeah, you
do I
can call it
delete
what you
an
want. You can delete it, or you can add to it, or you can delete half of it and change half of it. It's completely up to you.
Cindy, because this is cinnamon, so it's Cindy.
Okay, Cindy.
Yep.
Now, password for root,
Oh, just anything? Okay.
and remember it.
Yeah.
Yep, okay, go. I'm surprised it's letting you do a 2-digit password. That's so, especially for the root user, like this is the admin privileges that can get into your system and do
Fine.
everything. So now you need to create an actual user account for your computer, like a normal human type user.
I'm a new user.
Yep, okay, and who's it going to be?
Me.
Remember, no,
Me.
it has to begin with a letter, and it cannot contain special characters or uppercase letters. Please try again.
But people's names always begin with an uppercase letter.
Yeah, but when you have a user on the computer, they don't have uppercase letters.
Okay. Me.
Now, what is your full name?
Okay, full name. Well, it was me.
Yeah, so those were the initials. So Mrs. Excellent obviously can't spell her own name.
Wait a second.
She's not that excellent, is she?
I haven't spelt it in a while. No, find out. Don't include this.
C-A-L-L-T.
Oh, it was 2 L's.
2 L's,
Okay.
but that's in it.
No, it's...
You getting the word wrong is funny.
I swear
It's
now.
funny,
No,
it's in it.
It's not
Yes,
in
it
it.
is.
It's
It
not
is.
in
It
it.
is.
It's not.
It is.
It's. I
It
don't
is.
continue.
Well, you do continue.
No.
Okay, it's not in it for now, but it will be in it
It
later.
won't be in it at ever. No.
Yes.
Can you be quiet while I start
Please,
again?
no. It's so
Don't make
funny.
me laugh. I'm getting wrinkles, missus. There we go.
Okay, you've corrected it now. You've corrected the yes.
Got it
You've
right the
corrected
first
it.
time.
No, you got it right the second time.
No.
Please enter a new login password for me.
For you.
No, for the you, isn't it? For me.
Enter your own password.
No, for me.
Set me password. Set me password. Very slang. Okay.
It reminds me of some Irish person. You
Okay.
know?
I've set the password,
Okay.
which is mine.
Okay.
Set me password.
Now
my
read
password
into
again.
Password again.
My password again. Sounds like a Scottish person. My password again. Okay.
Now, do you want to enable pseudo privilege for me? Enable administrative privilege for me.
Enable your own pseudo privilege. May as well.
Yeah, it's better too.
Okay.
Now, are you done?
Yes.
No, not a new user. You're done.
Done.
Yeah. Would you like to install some common software?
Do I have to?
You don't have to.
I don't feel like it.
So if you wanted to install additional stuff there, like if you wanted your distro to have an office, like
Oh,
office
but
and that
how am
kind
I
of...
going to do the tasks? Oh, this isn't
You're
doing
not doing the tasks.
Oh, good.
But, you know, it would have been nice to have that in.
You can always get them in later.
You can always get them in later, yeah. But it would have been nice to see kind of what it looks like when you're getting software. So now it's fully installed and you've got some options. What would you like to do? Reboot, power off, do all this stuff. Now let's just say you wanted to install some additional software. Let's say, you know, Office.
Yeah,
Remember you
just
kind of...
to have a look what Office
Exactly.
would have been like, yeah.
So, click OK.
So it gives you a second chance.
Yep. Would you like to see some common software? So it takes you back to this point.
Yes.
Yes. So you can see here some additional software, for example. Let's say you're trying to find LibreOffice. Like, if you know, you always use that. Where do you think you'd find that?
Office. Office software.
Okay, and can you see LibreOffice anywhere?
Yeah, there's LibreOffice Fresh and LibreOffice Still.
Which one do you think you'd use?
The fresh one.
Okay, so that's like the latest up-to-date one. And the following package, would you like to add that?
Well, I wouldn't have selected it if I wasn't going to add
Okay,
it.
and now you can install. And then it goes and it starts getting that for you.
Okay, good. But I already pressed install.
I know, but the first, like if you'd done it at the very beginning where it had all that options, it would have just installed it with the Arch thing, so it wouldn't have been a separate thing. So it's a bit nicer than that. Don't think it's like that.
Okay.
So just as this installs, you're basically done now. You're finished and you're going to reboot and you're going to see what it looks like.
Great.
Okay? And then I'm just going to, oh, there we go, it's done. We can reboot the system now and we'll see what it looks like. Don't worry, you know, this is just how Linux often boots up. So.
Well, as long as everything's okay. Most of the things there are okay. So that's good. Mrs. Excellent. There we go.
Okay.
What was my password? Oh,
Don't tell me you forgot it.
that was mine. Wouldn't that
Thank
be
God. If
bad?
you had forgotten it, we wouldn't be able to get into it.
But you'd be able to work it out somehow.
No,
You're a
we'd have to.
computer
No, you'd
whiz.
have to reinstall.
Oh, no.
Unless you go into the root thing.
What would you do in the root?
What the root password, the 2-letter one, if you remembered that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to get you to change the resolution here as a little task, okay? I'm going to give you 3 little quick tasks.
Oh.
Let's just say here you wanted to see how it's a bit of a weird format now. It's all the screens
all right.
are small.
I don't mind.
No, let's say you wanted to change the resolution.
I don't want to change
How
the
would you change the
resolution. It's all
resolution?
right.
Just so it's a bit bigger on the screen.
Terminated. That doesn't sound like any resolution. No, that's playing something. That's listening to something.
And that Office
That's
Writer
my
wouldn't have been there
Office.
if you didn't install it. You see,
Yeah.
so it's good that you got that.
Okay.
So it doesn't quite
That's
seem
me,
to be here.
Mrs. Excellent. Connected to...
Wired
I thought it
network.
said the weird network.
No, the wired
I thought
network.
that said the weird network. So anyway, well, it's not there. So I'm assuming it could be in Med.
So it's got a list of all your applications there.
Well, it wouldn't be an application.
Do you notice how, like, when you put your cursor over something, at the bottom it tells you what each thing is? System settings there, terminal there.
Yeah,
See?
yeah, yeah.
It's nice to actually
It
have
would
that.
be system settings,
Okay.
obviously.
And which setting do you think here you'd use to change the resolution? Make it so that you're no longer in a little box format.
Okay, well, that's background, so it's not that. And I like this background anyway. Although I wouldn't mind seeing what their backgrounds
You are going to change it in a moment, but before
Yeah.
you do, let's get the resolution sorted.
Hot corners.
So that means, like, if you put your cursor to a corner of the screen, it does an action.
Oh.
So if you want hot corners,
I
you can
don't
set.
want
They're
hot
like little
corners.
shortcuts.
I would say it's the display.
Okay. Now you want to bump the resolution up, just for the purpose of this video and stuff, because we don't have proper drivers.
I'd say
or settings.
that one.
1360 by 768, because you want a 16:9 aspect ratio. So 1360 by 7. Yep, that one's the right one. See, that's a better, like a widescreen. Yeah,
okay.
16 by 9 aspect ratio is what you get on most TVs. So it's the same as like 1080p and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Let's say you now wanted to change the desktop background. Make it a little bit more personal.
Well, I have a feeling I can do it two ways. I can either go to the menu and select it there, or I can right-click and change desktop background. Oh wow!
There's quite a few here.
Oh wow! They're actually quite nice. I like this one.
Okay.
No, I like that, but I like that one too. But no, I like this. This is similar to where we are.
Now another little thing.
I like the way I select it, and it does it instantly instead of having to press apply or are you sure or something.
Yeah. See at the bottom here how you've got this multi-desktop thing, these workspaces here. So let's say you've got, you know,
4
like,
of them.
Let's say you had Chrome open, Chromium to be specific. Let's say you had Chromium open, but you had a different desktop. See, and this is this in it, and that one has Chromium in it. See, so it's almost like having multiple screens.
Yeah.
See, so you don't use that feature, you never do. How do you think you might get rid of this workspace switcher thing at the bottom?
Remove the current workspace. Remove the current workspace.
You've got oh wait, you had 3 of them before. Now you've got 2 of them.
Remove the current workspace.
Yeah, you've got 1 of them.
But this is the one, isn't it?
Yep, but how do you think you get rid of that thing altogether?
But if I get rid of that,
you don't want to remove the workspace. You want to remove the.
I want to remove the
workspace switcher. So now there's no switcher. It's simply one.
Well, you don't need a switcher when there's one. So when when there's one, it should just remove it itself.
Yeah, but
because
no one really uses. Like, you get what I mean? It's okay. Anyway, now last of all, let's just say you want this to feel a little bit more homely, and you actually do want to get some software on it that you didn't initially install. Do you remember how you install stuff with Arch Linux? You use the terminal. Where do you think the terminal is?
There.
And you usually type in, what do you remember? Do you remember from your Arch Linux days? Let's say you wanted to get Firefox. Okay, so it's sudo pacman. Do you like how it's saying this is wrong, and then as soon as you get the word right, it's green? Because it knows that word is right.
Oh, yeah.
Sudo pacman, then you do a little -s, and you type in the program name you want.
Firefox?
Yep, Firefox. So you just type in what you want, press Firefox, press enter, and then we trust you've gotten the usual lecture, and it boils down to 3 things: respect the privacy of others, and with great power comes great responsibility.
That's really funny.
Because
the way they've worded that.
Because you're about to do something that requires administrator privileges, which is installing software. So, be very careful.
Password for me? Mine.
Press enter. You press no. It has an invisible. Here's the package. You can do a Y and enter. There we go, it's downloading Firefox. Looks like a little Pac-Man too. Get it? Pac-Man?
Yeah.
Pac-Man actually stands for Package Manager, and packages your software. So instead of calling something a software manager or something, it's packages. So the package you're getting now is Firefox. And there you go.
But isn't there a copyright using Pac-Man? Because that's already a game.
I don't know. This operating system had an issue being called Arch Anywhere, and they had to call it Anarchy. Anyway, then, simply just after that, if you go here, what's installed? Firefox is installed.
But it looks a bit different.
Yeah, I know, it's got a weird little kind of a theme here, but the point being is that's how easy it is to install software. Instead of going online, typing in Firefox, trying to find download, then going through an install process, you just simply sudo pacman-s Firefox, yes, done. And that's how Arch is mostly. You just type in what you want, but obviously you have to know the name of what you want. So if you wanted to install VirtualBox, you just type in the same thing, sudo pacman-s VirtualBox. Anyway, what did you think of how easy it was to install this operating system as opposed to doing it manually via Arch?
Even I could do it, so it's pretty damn easy. But the thing is, I know why they call it Anarchy, because with the Arch Linux community being so text-based and that, this would cause anarchy. Because they see, I feel...
text-based.
Yeah, they are text-based. They're very text-based. No, but they're harder than this.
No,
and they like things done via their wiki and special stuff and special commands, whereas this is just so easy.
They love stuff being done through the wiki. You're right about that. If you ask a question on the forums, go on the Arch, how do I do this?
They refer you to the wiki.
Follow the wiki. I mean, one time on the Arch Reddit, I posted my, install Arch Linux into
and they hated it.
They hated it because they don't like don't make a video telling people how to do it easily. We want them to follow the wiki. So I got in a lot of trouble. The Arch community hate me, okay? Because I told people how to install it into them, and they were like, oh, you know what you've done? You've just made it so easy to install that a bunch of, inefficient people will come and they'll start annoying us. Anyway, there we go. That was Anarchy.
It was good. But I consider it the exact opposite. It's great.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of anarchy.
So remember, the idea here, though, is it did, although it was very easy, the installation of Arch Linux, it kind of gave you lots of multiple choice options. It wasn't, I guess, as open-ended as the real Arch Linux. Like, there wasn't an option that I could see that had no desktop environment or
Arch
KDE
Linux
and
for
stuff.
Dummies.
Yeah, but at the same time, it didn't give you all the options.
It doesn't matter. Who needs all the options when you don't even understand the options? Just Arch Linux for Dummies, and it's great.
Yeah, but if you don't understand the options, you're obviously not going to be a user of Arch Linux. If
you might become a user of Arch Linux with being this easy now.
You'd be using Ubuntu or Elementary OS, not this if you're a Linux dummy. Anyway, let's end this dumb discussion, finish up, shut down the computer, and we will see you next time in the next episode of OSFirstTimer.
See ya.
But you got to shut down the computer.
Oh, menu, shut down.
And based on, remember you chose Cinnamon?
Yes.
If you'd chosen Budgie, it would have looked all different, the UI. If you'd chosen another one...
I remember using Budgie in some other one, so I thought I'll try something
Budgie looks a bit different to what it did in that, though.
Oh, okay. Doesn't matter.
Anyway, everything you picked, it would have been different. Anyway,
shutting down.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next time.
Bye.